Hi guys, I thought I would show you how I made these hidden paperclip notepads. I've played around with this for a little while now, and I have a couple other sizes that I've done, and I made these for my daughter. I made these this paper right here on Canvas. That's my own design. But this is with the MyPorchPrints petite pack. But it's just a little paperclip that you kind of get on there, and it holds pretty well. So it's got a little hidden pocket back in here, so if you take your notes, you can put them inside there, whatnot. But so I kind of, as quickly as I could, came up with the exact measurements for you, and you can change these to whatever, however big you want to, but I am going to end up selling these. So I am using some papers from another collection. I believe, I can't remember. Anyway, I got these from Walmart. I think this is the one I'm using. I took the last one out. I should have wrote this one down. Oh, I should have wrote this one down, but I didn't. Anyway, so, oh, here it is. Yeah, this one here. So it's a 12 by 12 sheet, and I picked it up from Walmart. So I'm just going to use this. I usually use cardstock, though. I found that it holds on a lot better. So, alright, so I cut that 12 by 12 sheet down to 8 1/4 by 4 1/2, and I pre-scored. I don't know if you can see that. But, so I did that. And then I went ahead and pre-cut this out so you could see. I scored these at the, I'll do it on this sheet really quick, at the, oh, wrong side, sorry, 1 3/4 mark, excuse me, yeah, or 1 7/8. That's right, because I did this one at 1 7/8. Anyway, 1 7/8. And then I scored it at the 4. And then I just moved this over to the 2 and scored this at the 4 again. So it just went over 2 more inches. So this sheet is totally 8 1/4. Probably should have used different paper to show you, but I didn't have anything else that would kind of match what I was doing. So then what I did, after I scored this way here, I turned it this way, so it's 8 1/2 inch length long this way, and I scored this at the 3/8 mark, and then I scored it at the 7/8 mark, and then the 1 inch mark, and that'll make sense here quickly. I then cut the section here off. So I went by the score line here and cut just below that score line. So this to here across is going to actually measure out to 3 1/2 inches. This will be gone and this will be gone. Okay? And then I took this side here and I folded it in, so just kind of match it up. It's not ever going to be perfect, but so just match it up there. And then I took this part here and I folded it backwards this way. Okay. And then you take this part and you fold it in this way. Okay, and then you will take this first part here that was the 3/8, fold that in. Cutting's not totally perfect, but hey. And then fold it all the way down first. I found this one to be a little bit easier when I did it that way. And then open it back up, and where you did the 7th, 8th scoring line, that's then where you'll score that up. It's just a little easier for me. Okay? So this is so you can hold your notebook paper or scraps of paper, whatever, inside of there. Okay? Then what I did is I glued this section together. So, oh, I might get up there. I glued this part down real quick. And while this part right here was drying, I went through and I went and made my score marks. So I know that I had wanted a pocket here. So I'm going to take my little tool and I just put it about halfway on there. And I got a little pocket in there. And then I like mine rounded. So I'm just doing it with the 7mm here. Around that one. Put this in right here. Around that one. And then around this one here. And then around this corner pocket here. And you can round, you know, all of it if you want to. I didn't. I kind of just liked the way that looked. So that's the part I did there. And then I found that the smaller paper clips work better for this tiny one. On the larger one that I did, and this is cardstock here, I use the bigger one, so that worked better for this, but these smaller ones work a little better, especially if you want this other pocket that's right here. So, and I didn't ink this, this was my own personal one. So, anyway, so you are going to take your small part of the paper clip and leave that on the outside of the fold, and the larger side goes in. And then you'll do the same thing with this one here, and you'll want to try and get it as close down here as you can so you have a big enough pocket, but you want to make sure it's far enough away that when you go to glue it together it's not going to come apart. So there's that piece, and you can see it just folds like this. Really nice. So this should be dry enough right now. What I did here is I measured down to, it's about 5/8 by 1/4. So when I put this, to give you the exact measurements, I put the whole thing up and I measured it at 2 1/8 and just put a little line or a dot there, and then I measured it at about 3 3/4 there, and then I just turned it, and I know I've already glued that over, but it was at the 3/4 mark here, and then I just put a little dot there. So then just take your hole punch or whatever you got, and then try and line up in the center of that mark that you put on there on both sides as best you can. It's not always going to be perfect, but so when it's folded like this here, what you're going to do so it can be refillable is take a pen. I have a white one, I think. Yeah. And you'll fold this over to about where paper is going to be in there so it can fold really nicely. And just put kind of a circle there so that you can open this up. And you probably want to take these off because otherwise you're going to get that. And then this is the easiest way I found to do it. You just poke the hole or punch the hole, whatever you want to do, right in there. So that way when you close this, the ribbon's going to go through here, and like I said, it's not going to be perfect most of the time, but you'll see what I'm meaning in just a minute. But that's the steps I did. So let me go ahead and put the paper clips back on really quick. Okay, so like that. Alright, so really quickly, it's about, I think about 10 or 12 inches of ribbon. Kind of depends on, you know, how big of a ribbon you want, but I'm gonna just go for 10 and just cut that off there. And then the ribbon is going to go through this way, so you'll want to glue it down. So going through the back here, just like that, pull it through, and then kind of just make sure it's even as best as you can, you know, as even as you can get. So I just held them up like that, and then just held my finger on it, and I flipped it over. And then I glued, oh, come on. I glued this ribbon on back here. Or you can use that tape, the double-sided tape. I mean, that can work too. I just used the glue just to make it easy for myself. So just move this over, glued this on right here. Just like that. It's the first time I'm using this My Sweet Petunia, so I don't know how well it holds, but the stickiness of it, so how long it lasts. But all right, so once we did this part here, we've got this glued on. Then you glue on this side where the long paper clip is, and you only around the edges here. I mean, you can go inside there, but it doesn't really matter. Just glue that on there. Good enough. And then you'll fold this over like that. And let's try and keep the paper clips, you know, as separated as you can from the sides there, so you don't accidentally glue it in. Alright, and then I went a straight line up from here, so from right here I just went straight up and then over to glue this down. This is the one of the pockets here. That way we're not getting glue all the way up there. And then did the same thing right here, and then just went straight up and glued this part here down like that. I think that's good enough. And I didn't ink this. I could have, but I just chose not to. Alright, so just press them all down. That. Okay. Alright, then I put my tab on, and you know, you can use whatever color, whatever you're wanting to do for that. You can match up the colors, or you can change it up. Oh, got the other part on there, yeah. Forgot to take that off there. So just fold that so you have a little tab, and do whatever you want to do with it to make it easier to grab, whatnot. Okay. It's important you do this part here if you're wanting a tab anyway, because otherwise it'll be over your pocket. And then I have another trick real quick too to show you. It'll help the papers to keep sliding in. So you'll want the tab to go on this side and on the other side, obviously, wherever you want to put it at. Just like that. Okay, and then take a little piece of tape, not too much bigger than the piece, because you don't want it, the glue not sticking. So I just kind of merge it out by sight there, and don't get the total edge over here like it said you want to be able to glue down. But so you're just covering the edge here so that when you go to put stuff in here, it doesn't get snagged by that that piece glued on. Okay, so there's that part. And then here's my pocket here, so it matches, or you can make it the same, whichever. So I am going to actually put another notch in here, so I'm going to figure out where I want the notch. And I don't really want it in the same exact place. And also, so I know which direction it's going to go, I know I need to round this corner right here. So 7mm, rounded that corner. And you can round this one and this one if you wanted. I didn't this time, but I wanted this to be symmetrical there, so I did that. So I could put another notch here so it's kind of the same, since I made this pocket a little bigger than what I had wanted, but that's okay. So I just kind of set it up, kind of measure it up best I can, and then put your paper in there. Oh, come on. Not totally going to be even, but hey, it's alright. Paper crafting. Okay. And then I will take my edges here and just glue alongside there. There. And then set this on and set that one on. Okay, there's that part there. Now for the papers. So what I did, like I said, I made these, well, I didn't say on here yet, but anyway, I made these on Canva, but you can use any scrap paper. It really doesn't matter. You just want to measure it out. This was for a different one that I did, but it's kind of the same principle. So I took the top part and lined up on here where my paper was going to fit at, and then I just took pencil, pen, whatever you want, and made the circle for where my hole punch is going to be. And then I just made the punches, that one and that one, and then took the string and or the ribbon, whatever you want to use, put it through here. I had thought about doing the prongs for these, you know, some decorative prongs and stuff, but you know, when you want to refill these down the road, they'll eventually wear out, and so I was trying to think of the best way to do this to be able to still make it refillable. Oh, I forgot to put the pocket on here. Hang on a minute. I forgot to put the hidden pocket. Alright, so really quick, sorry about that. Oh gosh, I put that on there too. Thought I cut that off already. Alright, so you can leave it like this here. Oh, where it is just straight across, or you can put your notch in it, which I'm going to put a notch in it. Just makes it a little easier, and I like the way it looks. So do that one, and then you'll want to round the corners down at the bottom there so they're same. It fits pretty well anyway. Alright, so then you can even have it up higher if you want an exact hidden pocket, but I'm just going to kind of put it down there. So, put some glue. It's one of the first little instructional videos I've done, so you're going to have to just ignore all the faux pas and stuff I make on here. I didn't think I'd get many requests for this, but okay, so just line that up there, and then you can decorate, you know, whatever you want, add whatever embellishments. But since I wanted this to be something that can go pretty easy, sliding onto, you know, a book page or something like that, I didn't want it too heavy and I didn't want it too embellished. So anyway, so now I put that down and I'm just gonna tie this ribbon on. It's probably not gonna be the perfect ribbon today, just because I'm trying to show you how I did it. I've got a struggle now. Alright. I don't know who does perfect ribbons all the times, but hey. Alright. There. Alright, so there it is. You got your little hidden pocket in there. And you have these here. So how this goes on, this is one of the journals I'm working on, but anyway. So you just take the paper and go right to your edges there and slide it on, and that is it. It stays. It is awesome. So I hope you liked this video. Again, I am making a lot of these. I was hoping to maybe make an Etsy store and put them on there. I did this design here on Etsy, or excuse me, on Canva. It was pretty fun, but it is a bigger one, and you know, you have to be careful which way you put it on, because it's heavier. And I have about 20 pieces here of paper, and this is, I don't know, probably about 8, 10 maybe. But yeah, so that is my hidden paperclip refillable notepad. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.